Don't touch Romeo. It's water right there. That's
Whatever. It's about to rain. It is raining actually. Y'all so nasty. You can't get in water. Mom told me
you look at it.
to. Oh,
It's raining.